call to order this regular Board of Directors meeting for the Siloam Springs Board of Directors, March 15th, 2022. Roll call.
Sappington.
Here.
Smiley.
Here.
Burns.
Here.
Hunt.
Here.
Rizzler. Allen.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
At this time, if you all will please stand with me, and Director Hunt will lead us in a word of prayer. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this beautiful day we've had today. Thank you for the longer time of daylight that we're going to have for the next few months, Lord. And I just pray that you give us the health to be able to get outside and enjoy that. Lord, I thank you for all those that I saw at the park on my way here today, just enjoying the city facilities. Thank you for the city staff and what they do to make this city the best it can be for the citizens. And I just thank you for the citizens who have chosen Siloam Springs to be their town. Lord, I also want to thank you for those I know who pray for the board of directors, the city, the decisions we make. We have those in attendance at our meetings that are praying for us. We have those let us know beforehand they're praying for us. And I just really appreciate that they are bathing us in prayer, Lord. And finally, I pray for those in Ukraine and for all those who are helping them. I just pray your hand in that situation, Lord. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to ask anyone that has an electronic device with them to please silence that so that we are not interrupted during the meeting. And thank you for doing that. Next is our public input time. I would ask if there is anyone in the public that would like to make a comment or have questions for the board concerning any item that is not listed on our regular agenda. If there is not, is there anyone here that would like to make a comment or have questions about any item that is on our consent agenda? There is not. We will move on then to our consent agenda. Item A, regular meeting minutes, March 1, 2022. Resolution 17-22, administering the recording of municipal meetings. Item C, purchase Public Works Department, Sanitation Division, Side Load Trash Truck, J&R Equipment, LLC of Oklahoma City, $305,384, and that is a budgeted item. Is there any comments, questions, or items that you would like pulled, directors? If not, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Smiley.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Sappington.
Yes.
Motion. Before we move on to our ordinances, I would like to remind our directors that we need to be speaking loudly and into our mics whenever we are speaking. These are being recorded. We have had some of our citizens say that they could not hear and understand what we were saying, so it's very important that we speak into the mics for that reason. So I appreciate that from each of you. Next is our ordinances. Ordinance 22-07, second reading, amending section 102-21 of the City Municipal Code, rezoning from R3 to R2, 2100 to 2400 block of East Kenwood Street, Foxtail Addition South. Ben?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the board. Ben Rhodes, Senior Planner. As the Mayor stated, this is the second reading of the rezoning, the Foxtail Addition Phase 1, going from R3 two-family to R2 single-family to bring the zoning in compliance with the proposed land use with that subdivision. We have not received any additional questions since the first reading or comments, and we're still recommending approval, and we're available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Is there anyone in the audience that has questions or comments on ordinance 22-07?
Thank
If
you.
you would please state your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jesse Fulcher, 4058 North College, Fayetteville. I'm the applicant for the rezoning and just wanted to approach the board and the mayor and just remind everyone this was a conversation we had when we originally came through with the preliminary plat about a year and a half ago to make sure that our zoning matched what we were planning to build. We're not trying to build something under R3, and so we're trying to get it to R2, a down zone, to reflect the single-family homes that we'll be building in the subdivision. And I would greatly appreciate if maybe the second and third reading could be read tonight. Our final plat is kind of on pause until the zoning change takes effect so that the zoning language on our final plat that's recorded matches what the board approves. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, directors, comments, questions?
Mayor,
Yes, David.
is Ben here? Ben, can you answer, if we were not to do the third reading, will it hold up the planning and zoning approving it before, are they planning now to approve this or the final plat before our next meeting?
The final plat has already been approved. It's waiting for the rezoning. So
Okay.
that's already happened.
Okay, so it's simply waiting for this?
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't have to go to any, okay.
No.
I got confused by what he was saying, so you answered it. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I know we tried to avoid skipping the, the second reading and going right to the third reading. In my opinion, I think if we were doing the reverse, going from R2 to R3, well, we should wait. I would be okay with going ahead and placing this on the third reading.
I echo that.
So would you like to make a motion to place this? Is there any, let me ask first, is there anyone else that has comments or questions? Marla? No? Okay. Then would you like to make a motion that we place this on its second and third reading, suspending the rules and reading title only?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Burns,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Sappington,
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Philip?
Ordinance number 22-07, an ordinance amending section 102-21 of the Siloam Springs Municipal Code, city zoning map, rezoning from R3 to R2, property located in the 2100 to 2400 block of East Kenwood Street.
Thank you. Do I have a motion, excuse me, do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 22-07?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hunt,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Sappington,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Next, ordinance 22-08, second reading, amending section 102-21 of the City Municipal Code, rezoning from R4 conditional to R4 standard, the 1200 block of South Holly Street, Dogwood Terrace Apartments. Ben?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Mayor and Board. This is the second reading for the rezoning from a conditional R4 zone to the standard zone district for R4 at the 1200 block of Holly. As the mayor stated, this was tied to the related significant development permit that the board looked at last time for the Dogwood Terrace Apartments. The zoning is effectively needed to allow for that development project to be finally confirmed. We have not received any additional comments since the last time, and we're available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Is there anyone in the audience that has comments or questions on this ordinance 22-08? Directors? Not, do I have a motion to place ordinance 22-08 on its second reading, suspending the rules and reading title only?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Allen,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Sappington,
Yes.
Wiley,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Philip?
Ordinance number 22-08, an ordinance amending section 102-21 of the Siloam Springs Municipal Code, City Zoning Map, rezoning from R4 with conditions to a standard R4 zone, property located in the 1200 block of South Holly Street.
Thank you. Next is our staff reports, the January financials, and administrators report. Philip?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Board. You have the January financials in front of you. I wanted to report that you will see what appears to be a loss for income in the general fund, but based on accounting principles, it's because the sales tax that is received in January, sales tax and utility revenue, was actually from December, so it's incurred back in December, back in the prior year. We have a number of expenditures to report in the excess of $30,000 and under the budgeting or the bidding limit. We have 2 circuit reclosures similar to home breakers for the electrical department, $48,466. For the Moss substation, we also purchased 300 AMI meters, electrical meters for inventory for $45,099. For $43,632, we purchased 4 150 kVA 3-phase pad-mounted transformers, and for $48,684, we purchased 4 225 kVA 3-phase pad-mounted transformers. And then back at the end of last year, you as a board approved a resolution 61-21 for inventory purchases in the utilities to allow us, due to issues of supply, to purchase at a greater amount without bidding up to $100,000. And what you have before you is 5 purchases in that range, all related to transformers. So $99,946 for 14 37.5 kVA single phase pad mounted transformers for inventory, $97,236 for 12 50 kVA single phase pad mounted transformers, $92,285 for 5 75 kVA single phase transformers, $98,160 for 8 100 kVA single phase transformers, and $92,285 for 5 167 kVA single phase transformers. And I wanted to report to you what's interesting is this purchase of these transformers is a purchase of a spot in the building of the transformer. It's not the purchase of the actual transformer. So when we talked to the board back in December and you approved that resolution, we said we were running into these problems where we can't get folks to guarantee their quotes on bids. And so what they do is they call us up and say, we have a slot where we can build 5 or 14 37.5 kVA transformers. Do you want that slot? And we'll start building them for you. And if you don't, we're going to go, give that slot to somebody else. But you've got to commit to it soon. So without that ability that you gave us back with Resolution 6121, we wouldn't be able to have transformers in our inventory. We wouldn't be able to keep up because of the process of going through budgeting. So I know it's an extreme, outside the norm sort of process, but it's allowed the electric department to at least try to keep up with getting the transformers that we need to be able to have those in our inventory and meet the demand that we have. The February tax receipts are in. So for the city, we were up 17% for the month and 19.3% for the year to date. The county receipts, the portion that we received from the county, was up 2.75% for the month and just barely under, just right at basically 1% for the year to date. I was mentioned at the Planning Commission meeting at last week, and it needs to be mentioned publicly again. The Whataburger app that came before the application, significant development permit that came before you 2 weeks ago, was stated that it had a opaque screening wall, and staff mistakenly interpreted that as being a block wall and stated it that it was a block wall, and it was stated in the paper that it was a block wall. The applicant never intended it to be a concrete block wall, and in fact, the wall is proposed in a utility easement where you couldn't build a concrete block wall. So the applicant had originally, at least in their mind, opaque screening wall was a double-sided wooden wall, basically a very double-sided fence that's completely opaque, no gaps in it, and that's what we had to amend the site plan or the significant development for to be able to do that. There's a code section 54-26 that allows staff to make minor modifications to approved plans, and under that provision, you are required to be noticed, as was the Planning Commission. I've noticed the board, but I also wanted to notice the public that there was a slight modification to that application that was previously approved. Spring Cleanup Week is coming up. It's the week of April 4th and 7th. You can visit the city's website and get more data on that, more information. We would ask that you don't put out your items for pickup too early, preferably no more than maybe a day in advance, but spring cleanup is just right around the corner. I've spoken to many of you about setting up a time for a workshop to try to develop board goals for 2023 and 2024. We have that scheduled for Thursday, April 14th from 5:30 to 8:30 at the library meeting rooms. I'm asking if you have goals that you would like for the board to consider. You let me know those goals by the 25th of this month. We'll put those together under various headings, and then we'll go and try to use the same process that we've used in years past to forward those goals until you get to, you know, the top 10 or 12 or 15 or whatever the number is. The a couple other items that I didn't put on my list but I need to mention to you, I will be in Little Rock on Thursday. The city, along with Benton County, Bentonville, and Rogers, will be presenting to the state 911 board asking to remain as 4 funded PSAPs, Public Safety Answering Points, or 911 call centers in Benton County. As you know, the state has said through a state law that they're going to reduce the number of funded PSAPs in the state. Officially, that number today is 79. There are 75 counties. Benton County has 4 funded PSAPs today. The state has said that they would fund 2 with the possibility of getting 3. We're going to ask for 4, and they'll have to vote next month as to how many they're going to actually fund. If they choose to fund 4, then we'll proceed as is. If they choose to fund less than 4, we'll be back in front of you with some recommendations on how to proceed and ask you for some guidance on that.
Philip, who votes on that? You said they'll vote.
The state 911 board.
Okay.
So it's been appointed. There's a police chief, a fire chief, the state GIS person. It was appointed by the governor. I mean, there was the state legislature created a list of who, and then the governor appointed or approved the appointments of that. So
I didn't know if you meant the legislator.
No,
Okay.
It's a state board.
Yeah.
They are the last 3 months, or at least the last 2 months, they have been hearing from counties who may want more than what they've said that they are going to fund, and we'll just have to wait and see what they say, and they will make a decision this time in April.
State's had a surplus for 2 years. I mean, come on. And they're shrinking the number.
All your state legislature.
Yeah,
that's all I can
know.
say. And then lastly, I mentioned it at the last board meeting, the Civic Club sign is now up. The Civic Club signs are on that sign frame there on Highway 412. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. I think it turned out very well. I know, at least from speaking to the civic clubs, they really appreciated it. They think it looks very nice, and I hope that it's not, you know, you won't be able to necessarily read everything as you're driving by, but you can see their logo and recognize that this community has a healthy group of individuals who donate their time to various civic clubs and projects like that. And so I wanted to personally thank all of those civic clubs for working with the city in putting that project together. And like most city projects, I was hoping it would be finished before December 31st of last year. And 2 months later, we're finally done. So Madam Mayor, that's my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip, and that sign does look good. I saw it the other night. It looks real good. So at this time, then, we will have our director's reports, and tonight, Director Burns will start for us. He has a couple of things, I believe, he wants to present.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would request for my fellow board members, with your approval, to amend tonight's agenda. I have a resolution. It's Resolution 1822. It's to support the people of Ukraine. It's been approved by the city attorney, and I would pass out that resolution if the board is interested in adding that to the agenda.
Directors, any comments? Any?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to add Brad's resolution to our agenda.
You make a motion to amend our agenda to add resolution, and what is the resolution number, Philip?
Second it.
18-22, supporting Ukraine's sovereignty as an independent nation. So we have a motion by Carol and a second by Marla. Roll call.
Do we not have discussion?
Yes, we will. This is just to put it on the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Roll call.
Carol,
Yes.
Sappington,
Yes.
Smiley,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes?
Hunt,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Motion is approved. At this time, we will open discussion. Brad, do you have anything you'd like to say first?
Yeah, I know it's a little late. I caught city admin just before the weekend, and it just kind of, it felt like the right thing to do. And I think if you read through the motion, you'll see the wording is, I believe, appropriate, and it's just a support. I think it's a movement across the U.S. and across the globe, and we have a lot of, I think, a connection, just not only through churches but through service. A lot of people have done service and have served time in the European theater. I did not. I was in the other part of the globe, but and I just think it's just words, but I think it's a positive message and a good reflection of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, directors?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, David.
I would just request that in the future, if anyone wishes to do something like this, that we be sent an email ahead of time so that we can read it in advance. This kind of short notice and pressure to read this before we vote on it. So I would simply ask that that be provided to us as a common courtesy of a board member.
Thank you, David. Anyone else? If not, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 18-22?
I will also say I was good friends with the journalist who was killed, Brent Renaud. Him and his brother have been friends of mine since the mid-2000s when we met in New York City, and he was a fantastic documentary filmmaker and a war journalist. He was embedded in Iraq, in Somalia, and was just basically murdered by the Russian military, and it's very, very sad. My heart goes out to his family.
So many needless lives lost.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I'm not against that. I'm just have we ever done anything like this before?
I don't think there's anything in my lifetime that has been
That is
like
like
this
this?
before.
I'm in favor of it.
We've done other support things. I don't know if
Yes.
we've done anything like international.
Anyone else?
Brad, did you say this type of thing is going on across the country?
Yes, I just started, like anybody else, just started typing away, and there's just a lot, I think, a flood of communities. Maybe the wording might be a tad bit different, but I think it's a movement that, it's a small gesture on our part. I know the governor has been down in Camden, and when I went to rookie school down there, they do a lot of MLR systems that are being used by NATO now, and I think he has some pretty strong opinions that he's voiced on the news. So a lot of mixed emotions, but yeah, this movement is just happening, and it feels like the right thing to do, with your guys' approval, of course.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I do think we all have heart for these people of Ukraine, no matter what. I just feel like I'm doing something, you know? It's hard to figure out what to do.
Yes, it is. Philip?
Madam Mayor, this is a little unusual. As Director Burns said, he asked me about it, and we started talking on Friday. Monday, I came in and got to thinking and did a little research too. I apologize for not getting it out, but it was kind of moving very fast. But I think for the benefit of the public, it wouldn't hurt that before you vote on it, that it be read aloud, since it's not in the packet.
Sure.
I'd be happy to do that, but I don't have a copy. So, or Brad, it's your Director Burns.
Sure, I'll do my best. Madam Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Resolution number 1822, a resolution in support of the Ukraine sovereignty as an independent nation and condemnation of Russia's military attack and invasion. Whereas Ukraine, the second largest country in Europe by landmass, has a long and rich history with its own unique language, literature, cultural identity, and whereas on August 24th, 1991, Ukraine declared its independence from the Soviet Union, and whereas Ukraine is a democratic republic with a constitution that provides for a directly elected president, and whereas Ukraine has been building its democratic institutions and working to improve the life of its residents, and whereas on February 24th, 2022, Russian forces launched an unprovoked and unjustified attack on Ukraine, invading a sovereign nation and forcing millions to flee their homes to seek refuge in neighboring countries, and whereas the United States and nations around the world have united to condemn the invasion and have levied sanctions against Russia and its financial institutions, and whereas Ukraine is on the front lines of the battle for freedom of democratic countries around the world and the fight against evils of dictators, and whereas the people and leaders of Ukraine have demonstrated incredible resolve, tenacity, bravery in the face of Russian invasion, and whereas the Board of Directors of the City of Siloam Springs, Arkansas, joins with other communities, with the United States, and with other peace-loving democratic nations throughout the world in condemning this Russian-led attack on Ukraine and its people, institutions, infrastructure, and democracy. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Siloam Springs, the City of Siloam Springs condemns Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, stands with the Ukraine people and its government in opposing Russian invasion and war against the democratic nation, and express profound support for Ukraine at this difficult time, while calling upon Russia to halt this deadly and unconscionable aggression against peaceful neighbor.
Thank you, Brad. Directors? Any more comments or questions? Or do I have a motion to approve resolution number 18-22?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call.
Sappington.
Yes.
Smiley.
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Brad?
Madam Mayor, the second one is less controversial. I just want to put out there for consideration going into the future to take the board, maybe take a look at Sunday liquor sales in order just to create additional revenue. This will obviously require a ordinance, and it is not time pending. The thought is to get it on the ballot, on this next election ballot. And it is simply just to find ways to continue to supplement revenues to offset other things. Thank you. So I guess in closing comments, if anybody is yay or nay, or maybe I'm just starting the discussion and the emails begin to fly. So whatever that is, that's I think it's something that we need to consider as so we can keep you know, utility rates and other things down. And as we go into goal setting, I believe we're going to start looking at how to cut off our dependency off of utilities. So trying to generate revenue. And that is it for that. And thirdly is I'm just thankful for freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Philip, because Brad has asked for us to consider this, would you like for the directors during their closing comments to kind of give you direction on this request, or would you rather we just wait and let them contact you?
Yes, I think, you know, when a board member asks something like this, it's sort of question of whether or not you as a board are interested in seeing staff work on this issue. If, you know, if a majority of you say, yes, we are willing to consider it, then staff would be happy to try to put together an ordinance for your consideration. If it seems like the majority of you aren't interested in considering that, then I won't direct staff in working on such an ordinance. So,
All
yes,
right.
thank you.
Thank you. So with that, Marla, we will move on to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to just piggyback on what the city had posted on their website about Arkansas Homeowner Assistance Fund. These are funds that have been made available for applicants to prevent delinquent mortgages, defaults, foreclosures, and loss of utilities. And if you need more information, you can check the city's website or check us at the Manna Center. This afternoon, we met for one of our final meetings for our comprehensive plan. Quite enlightening, and I see that Ben's gone, and I was just going to give Ben a yoo-hoo out because, you know, he's struggling, doing a good job. The staff is thin in his area, and he's spot on wanting for us to be able to get our codes unified throughout, easier for our public to understand, steps to follow if you want to get something done. And I think that we're going in the right direction. And I want to encourage each of you to check the website for the comprehensive plan to see some of the updates. And there's a checklist that they're going to be releasing that will show what we're going to put on the plan. And I think it'd be great to have your input on that. And one more little thing. I don't think that we should ever do minimum standards. I think that we should have a standard in our code and not ever lower it just because we want someone to build. I feel like we have standards and we need to stay with them. And I don't always see that the need for the contractor or the builder to come in and ask for that. I feel like it compromises their integrity somewhat if they don't want to meet our standards. I don't think we should lower our standards to get them to build. I think we need to keep our standards and keep them high. Next.
And do you have any direction for the staff on considering Sunday?
That.
Yeah.
I can fly either way. And speaking of flying, while I have it on my mind, I have a lady that would be interested in talking to someone about adding poultry to residents. the ability to have your own little chicken pen
We
in
can
your
do that, we can.
subdivisions. And
Thought-
so,
I thought we already
I just
allowed
looked at
for-
that today.
We
Excuse
do
me?
have one.
It's
And it
already in the
was, you could
code.
have up to 4, are you talking about like poultry as chickens? Is that what you're
yes,
talking about?
yes.
I believe you can have backyard chickens today.
Yes.
Okay.
Subject to certain rules.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
you said you can go either way on Sunday liquor sales?
Yes,
So that means a yes that I should work on it?
yes.
Okay,
Anything
Trying to
to
make sure.
create morale, or, I mean,
Revenue.
revenue.
It might make,
We love you, Marla.
I better turn this mic off.
Thank you, Marla.
You're welcome.
Reed?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm looking forward to a wonderful springtime. It's good to see a little bit of sunshine today. And as we climb out of a pandemic, I'd like to see our morale just skyrocket as well. I'm looking forward to being outside and seeing everybody else out doing their walking and whatnot. Concerning Sunday sales, I'd like to take that to the workshop and discuss it there, and then see what direction we need to go. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Yes. Carol?
I think that spring break starts next Monday, and so we should all probably be on the lookout. There'll be more children out and about. Hopefully the weather will be nice, and maybe they can get out. But the library is having a family movie. It's Monday, and it's at 11 o'clock, so I'm not going to say movie night. Movie brunch, I'm not sure. But anyway, there will be a free movie at the library. And I always try to go back on the website and see what they have, and I don't know why I've never noticed this, but they do have tips on how to save on your electricity, and I think those are coming from GRDA and the staff. So you might want to go to siloamsprings.com and see what all you can find. I know that they have what's called frequently asked questions. I was surprised at the questions and the answers, and I might have violated one or two. I don't know. But like if you need a permit to build a fence, which the answer is yes, but you will find those types of things on there. Let me see. And I think somebody asked when the brush pickup was. And it depends on when your trash is picked up. Zone 1 is when your trash is picked up on Monday. But anyway, they pick up the trash once a month, depending on what zone you're in during that week of your trash pickup. And I want to remind everybody that now that it's the weather hopefully is a little bit nicer and stays nice, that we do have a leash law, and you need to keep your pets out that are out and about contained within your property or on a leash. And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you, Carol, and thank you for that reminder. David?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Philip, I appreciate you setting up and working to get that Civic Club sign. It looks great. The only problem I have is that the city of Siloam Springs is hard to read because it's a blue color with a green. I wish we could either have it black or gold or silver or something that would stand out, just because the blue is very difficult to read when you're coming into town. And I've been at different times a day, so it doesn't matter. I would also like to have us consider changing code to require fencing on water detention ponds. We discussed this at the last meeting about the large water detention across the street from this big apartment complex at the end of South Holly. It is dangerous. These things are required with housing developments, and we really need to be being proactive to prevent a child's death. These things aren't 2 or 3 inches deep. These are good size, and the one there on South Holly is pretty deep and holds a lot of water. So I would like us to consider that. I agree with Reed that it would be good to have the Sunday liquor sales as a workshop. I do have a question. Is it countywide that it is not available to be sold on Sunday, or is it just Siloam? And then if it is changed, does that also mean the bars and restaurants can sell liquor on Sunday?
So, if I may, the bars and restaurants can sell liquor on Sunday today. You
Okay.
can have a drink in a bar or in a restaurant. The bars, no. The Sunday liquor sales would be, if you put it to a vote, it would be just within the city limits. I know that there are places in Benton County today where the liquor stores are open on Sunday. One, I can never remember the name of it, but it's the liquor store there in right at the entrance to Springdale at 112 and 412. That I can't remember the name of that liquor store, but excuse me.
Oh, Ironhead.
Ironhead, yeah, Iron Hand or something, yeah.
But is that a county thing?
No, it's city by city.
Okay.
So the city would vote on Sunday liquor sales from package stores, right, within the city limits, and it would only apply to the city limits. So today, obviously, Stock Tank Liquor and the other liquor stores are not open on Sunday. You can't buy alcohol at Walmart and walk out with it on Sunday. If the citizens voted that in, then those stores could be open and you could purchase it on Sunday. Today, you can only purchase it at a restaurant.
Well, I got confused because Brad said it was looking to be put on the ballot, but I didn't know if that meant county or, so what would the city have to do with it? That if it,
City, you would have to vote an ordinance to put the question on the ballot
Okay.
in November for the city residents to decide.
okay. I was against Benton County going wet to begin with, and I certainly do not support Sunday liquor sales. And to look at it as a simple matter of adding revenue, I don't think is a good enough reason to do it, but I am open to discussing it in a workshop. The thing I see as a problem with poultry in backyards is that it was passed by this board years ago, and I'm not sure how many people can have, but when it was brought before this board, our local chicken companies, Cobb and Simmons, were not even consulted. They did not have anybody from the city go discuss this with those companies as to what the problem can be. And I was sitting in the audience when a representative of Cobb stood at that podium and said, this is a very scary thing. And it can be, with the amount of bird flu that goes around, and there is bird flu going on right now, 3 or 4 states over. When it hits a flock, you've got to destroy your entire flock, and it can take an entire chicken producer's revenue for at least 25% of the year to destroy that flock. And these things I've read about them getting into residential and spreading like wildfire, and so I don't think that it was something that should have been passed simply because we have a vested interest right here with 2 large industries that employ a lot of people that could be severely hurt. And I just have never been for it because of that simple reason. Nevertheless, it was voted, and I'm unsure what the ordinance says, but
I'm trying to find it. I think it says 4 within 100 feet of a house.
I just don't think it was ever worth us risking avian flu getting into local producers or chicken companies' revenue. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, David. Mindy?
Okay, I will start with Director Burns' request. So as it is now, citizens can purchase alcohol at restaurants. And if they want alcohol on Sunday, they could purchase it in town on Saturday to have it on Sunday, keeping the revenue still in Siloam if they plan ahead. I have concerns with allowing liquor sales on Sunday. We've been without it for a while. With that said, I think the workshop is probably the best place to continue this discussion. Just going in, with all due respect. Just going into it, letting you all know sort of where I stand now. I echo Philip's gratitude that he expressed toward the civic organizations in town, the civic organizations and just all the nonprofits in town. I have really come to appreciate even more since being on the board, because I can now see even better the impact they have on the community. I have sort of a broader view than I might have had before, and I just really do appreciate all that the nonprofits and civic organizations do in town on behalf of the citizens. There's just all kinds of things that they do for and on behalf of the citizens. So I want to take that time to appreciate them. And I also just want to express, again, I said this in my prayer, but it really is something that's been on my heart a lot lately. I just really appreciate those that I know are praying for us, for our community, for the city staff. We covet those prayers. It means a lot. And I guess I'm the last one, aren't I?
You are.
So I can move that we adjourn this meeting.
Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.